Back with Chapter 13 of Yellowface. Itinerant, a person who travels from place to place. June is visiting her sister Rory and her husband Tom. Rory is arguing with him about a work incident. The argument, I gather, is whether it was fair of HR to reprimand Rory's deskmate for telling a colleague that her hair looked gorgeous that day. Welcome to the pissing world Me Too created! Be kind, they say. You know that complimenting someone is one way to be kind, right?
Idiots.
Be kind, they say. How exactly am I meant to do that when a compliment identifies as an HR complaint?
And it's so crazy to call Chelsea a racist. I mean, she's a Democrat.
What? Democrats are racist. The Southerners who wanted slavery were Democrats. Democrats created the KKK. Major James R. Crow was a founding member of the Ku Klux Klan. Active in local politics, he was a Democrat. Democrats created Jim Crow. Democrats created DEI. Former President Woodrow Wilson authorized segregation within the United States government. Woodrow Wilson was a Democrat. During World War II, former President Franklin Delano Roosevelt detained both Americans of Japanese descent and Japanese immigrants in internment camps. FDR was a Democrat. Two Democratic students at Arizona State University were racist towards two Republican students, demanding they leave a study center that wasn't for white people.
Police lives matter? You are racist! Your sticker's racist!
They filmed themselves yelling at and berating two white male students who were studying in the school's multicultural center.
Democrats created every single pissing racist system we have. Democrats are obsessed with race. That's why they tell you what race you are, and that's why they demand that you identify with your race.
Oh, she voted for Obama.
Yeah, and what's your point? Obama is racist. Thank you for electing me as your first black president. He mentioned his race for no reason in his acceptance speech. I remember thinking, thanks for that, I forgot. What is the point of you mentioning that other than you wanted people to start thinking about race all the time? Then I started hearing about diversity and how people should want to be labeled by their race because it lets people see them for who they are. I wholly disagree. If you view me as a member of a particular race, you are failing to see anything about me because I don't use race as part of my identity. Jesus Christ. Guile, sly or cunning intelligence. June goes home and goes on the internet. She finds some mean threads about Athena, one of which says this: Athena was not a real Marxist. Yellowface reeks of Marxist ideas, and this sentence confirms my thoughts. Kuang just admitted this book is Marxist propaganda when she implies that this quote is meant to be insulting towards Athena. The only people that would care whether Athena was a real Marxist are people who think Marxism is a good idea. This sparks another debate about Nazis and book burning, but I won't drag you down that corner of the internet. Why not go there? Leftists are always whining about people burning books. Do you not want to go there because you're the ones burning the books? You guys burned Harry Potter books because you were mad that J.K. Rowling believes in basic biology. You're always bringing things up then saying you don't want to talk about them. Don't pissing bring them up then. Though it doesn't matter what the truth is, no one spreading these rumors cares about fact-checking or due diligence. What is even the point? I'll never understand this. Why are people so happy to spread lies? Why die on a hill to protect something you don't even know is true? Why do you care so much about something that seems unimportant to you? If you didn't care enough to figure out if it was true, why do you put so much effort into perpetuating the lie? And in destroying her, we create an audience. We create moral authority for ourselves. Destruction equates to moral authority for a Marxist. I guess that explains why they're always destroying everything. But that doesn't make it right. It's actually quite fucked up. Nothing really happened in chapter 13 other than finding out Rory is a moron who doesn't know Democrats are racist. Stupid doesn't fall far from the tree in June's family. Her sister is equally as retarded as she is. At the start of chapter 14 of Yellowface, June is complaining about Jeff, Athena's ex-boyfriend. June has discovered that Jeff has been pretending to be Athena's ghost. He has been sending her messages in an attempt to scare her into admitting her crime. Foreordained. Of God or fate, appoint or decree something beforehand. Synonym of preordained. Jeff's first novel, a self-proclaimed genre-bending thriller about race-hopping androids in a near-future society, failed to make the expected splash. Gee, I wonder why. A reviewer at Locust called it a confused and ultimately misguided, possibly malicious exploration of post-raciality and racial fluidity. Why does every author in this book write about race? The answer is that Kuang is obsessed with race, so she can't stop writing about it. She's not creative to come up with anything else for her characters to write about because she's obsessed with making everyone think about race.
Racist policies.
She wrote an entire book throwing propaganda in our faces because this is what she thinks about constantly, and you write what you enjoy. Jeff was very miffed by this particular review, and he wrote up some long and embarrassing blog post about how he'd been misread and how the Locust reviewer didn't have the intellectual range to appreciate the complexity and radicalness of his racial critique. How about instead of calling the reviewer stupid, you defend your writing choices? This is a tactic idiots use to counter criticism. It's a fancy way of calling you an idiot because you dare dislike his writing.
How dare you!
Newsflash, not everyone will like you, and not everyone is obligated to like you, dumbass. Screed, a long speech or piece of writing typically one regarded as tedious. Oh, so exactly like this book. This book is one long screed. A man born a man who is straight. You've basically said man, comma, white man. This label is stupidly redundant. We started bickering about the cost of the cabins and whether it was heteronormative and regressive to insist on gender-separated cabins, or if the people who weren't in relationships would have to awkwardly share. It must be painful to subscribe to Marxism. This is how a trip devolves when you're a Marxist. This is also a contender for the stupidest quote ever written in the history of the universe. June goes to meet Jeff at a coffee shop, and once again we get a play-by-play of June's bowel movements for reasons I cannot comprehend. I don't want to have to pee in the middle of this. Feminist absurdity at its finest. Obsessed with sex, death, and being disgusting. How about you write something that moves the story forward? Have you ever considered that? Two people who've been trading lies on the internet, trying to decide how to ruin the other's reputation. What pleasant human beings. More than one person can write a World War I story, I say dryly. There's no copyright on history, Jeffrey. Why do you constantly whine that people can't write about topics just because they're white or the wrong kind of Asian? If there's no copyright on history, which is true, then stop pissing acting like there's a copyright on history.
Oh, for fuck's sake, see me!
I'm delusional, he snorts. At least I'm not running around parading a friendship that never was. I know you two weren't close. Based. And when this leaked, Jeff, do you think you're ever going to get another publishing deal in your life? I have an idea. You guys are allegedly authors, right? How about you write some books and stop threatening to blackmail each other? You guys are acting like mafia crime lords. You're a horrible person, he spits. Based. Go to hell, bitch. Oh, fuck off. Hey, book, fuck off. This pigeonholes both of us and flattens our identities as writers. When you apply Marxism to writing, this is what you get. Writing turns into whiny, boring drivel. Stories disappear and creativity is replaced with infighting. Authors argue about who's allowed to write things. Marxism ceases productivity and stifles creativity.
Oh, this book is so racist that it's obvious only a white person could have written it.
I am so sick of this white people are racist narrative. Yeah, that's right, I said narrative. It's what Marxists want you to think about white people. It's a lie!
Lies and lies and more lies.
This author is Asian, and she's written tons of racism in this book so far, and I'm only on chapter 14. I don't foresee it stopping until the book is over. This book shows tons of Asian authors being racist. This quote I just read is racist, and it's said by an Asian character named Xiao Chen, a YA writer who sent anonymous death threats to a rival for months before slipping up and sending one from her own email address. This proves that people who send death threats are idiots. Also, why? What possesses people to do this? Let's add blackmailer to June's qualities. I wonder how many awful things she will be guilty of by the end of the book. June is a rude, fraudulent, narcissistic, insecure, jealous, vindictive, socially anxious, gaslighting, cowardly, unintelligent plagiarist and blackmailer.